no sign of the Vulkan API making its way onto the persistent universe. Not that it won't get there by the end of the year, just that time is passing. We will most definitely see engineering make its way to the persistent universe in 2026. This, of course, will change how ships work, being very systemic, removing that artificial soft death and having ships accurately disable and be boardable, but also means we can bring them back from pretty much death. And it will be far more viable to do so both from an in-game financial and timescale standpoint. It also might mean that hacking can come along, which last we heard they are working on a tutorial to help players understand how this system works. And if engineering and hacking comes along in a similar time frame, which I think is probably the intention, as both systems will utilize this resource network, it could mean that we will be able to hack doors and other systems like life support ship systems while offering options on how to counter-hack. So this will definitely lead to some interesting organic gameplay or even missions surrounding the need to disable a ship, hack into its systems, shut down the shields or open the doors, and then board and take control for whatever reason. So two very important systems, which I definitely expect to see next year. Continuing on with the major vehicle game changers, the new flight model should be rolling out next year, likely not until at least midway through the year, really, as I suspect they will want to conduct many more tests with this new testing group that they chop and change the users based on the ships they're testing and the flight model they want to operate. But alongside all of the engineering systems, flight will feel more real in atmosphere and hopefully a lot more enjoyable and wholesome, catering for all types of ships and scenarios. So flight of all kinds, for all ships, big and small, and not just for combat, but every single aspect of flight in the verse, will hopefully be where it needs to be and not changing again. Aside from general balance, of course. And then I can finally get in and start properly practicing. Now, another area that has been in heavy development for a long while that should be rolling out next year is both FPS and vehicle radars and scanners, and the new signature system overall. Now, this will help to really push Star Citizen's Persistent Universe into a place that can make things feel more final by removing much of that pointless UI, things like god markers, mission markers telling us where to go and what to do every second of the day, relying more on our own helmets, ship scanners, and radars.
Yeah, I was just checking the YouTube settings here. I was surprised you caught me. So I've never done anything to stream on YouTube, so I didn't have it set up. So let's see how that goes. Can't hear shit.
Now, talking of Star Wars,
11111. There's a lot of delay on YouTube, which is weird.
And hopefully it will mean suit lockers as well, as that would be a real quality of life addition. But Starware will give meaning to having more than just the one outfit every time, swapping out armor or clothing depending on what you're doing that day, providing benefits and trade-offs for each profession. It'll also mean being able to combine clothing and armor for a much greater range of outfits. Now, things that we know we will
there's so much delay.
And more missions, more points of interest, and the narrative storylines. Rock Cracker for one,
like
strike teams,
30 seconds or more, almost a minute.
Will likely be fleshed out more next year.
Twitch is a lot more responsive, I guess.
Salvaging missions and refueling missions. There is an abundance of content coming next year to further flesh out the verse with things to do on all scales for everybody,
7, 8,
big overarching 1.0 storyline.
Yeah.
They are heavily pushing out many points of interest.
It's a lot of seconds there. Let's count.
Associated with them continuously. Should you want to take part in that content again and again, of course, like Hathor, Lazarus, the Rock Cracker locations or stations, ASD and such, or just simply use them as points of interest to visit and explore, looting what you can or taking shelter. And with instanced content coming soon, many locations
like 20 seconds, yeah.
Dungeons in Elder Scrolls,
19-second delay.
Player, be that PvP, PvE, solo, combat, industrial, or social, and anything else that we might fancy at any given time. So choosing what to do when you want to do it outside of just the organic nature.
Right, looks like everything is
And
working.
then finally, although I think
Thanks to everyone that joined us today on this first YouTube stream. Thanks to our only viewer, Dupe, Democratic Order of People.
Now, as I said, when talking about
Thanks,
Genesis,
Dupe.
how fast can
Looks like it's
CIP
working.
create a planet or a system will be very interesting to know, as this will determine not just how fast we can get the systems on and planets of 1.0 complete, but the rest of the verse from there out.
And
Will we see Castro come to the persistent universe by the end
shout
of the
outs to
year?
Super Mac Brothers.
I think it is
Great
highly
videos.
possible, of course, if it doesn't contain
Right.
planets like we
See you later, Dupe.
rolling out Castro planets in 2027, for example.
Yeah, it's a huge delay, man. Yeah.
But let us see how it goes.
So I said this, and 20 seconds or 30 seconds later, you hear it. So it's weird. I'm gonna have to get used to that delay. All right. Bye-bye.
Of course, seeing all of what I mentioned here come along next year is unlikely, especially as many of these mechanics and systems will need